Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of our program. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we have with us Charles Walt Wilson with Private Pension by Design. Walt, welcome to the program.
Welcome to Mike. Thank you for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. And today we're going to talk about a really specific topic, which is the millennial generation and their approach and needs to financial services and their outlook on retirement and things like that. So get us started on some of the background there and why this is very important for the millennial generation.
I think it's very important for the millennial generation to have financial concepts of how their money is working. Time is the most relevant thing they have. They're not older like I am, or maybe somewhere in their 50s, so they have time to accumulate money for their future in either for retirement or for what other purposes they may want, because time and compounding is going to benefit the millennials far more than it's going to benefit me or anybody that's 40 and above pretty much at this point. I guess millennials, I'm trying to understand where millennials even are sometimes in their age group, because I think there was a statistic showing that millennials are actually saving more money today than the X-Geners. Is that correct? Something you read too, Mike?
Yeah, I've read that study as well, and I think that it's important to have that thought in mind, because I think that from research, millennials tend to be very optimistic and open-minded in the sense that they feel that there are good things happening in the economy, in the country, and that their money will grow. But here's the problem with that. As we know, if you get connected with the wrong advisor and they take advantage of that predisposition of eternally optimist and open-minded, they could get some bad advice. So I think that they're hungry for educational information, and you need to get really good, solid, and ethical education. So where does that play into how you advise your clients, no matter the age, but especially for a millennial that feels they're optimistic and they do want some educational info about their financial future?
I think those are very good points, Mike, and very sound points to talk about. The first thing I do, and I try to do with all my clients, is to give them education, how that money is going to be affecting their current life that they're trying to save, what affects that money as they save it, such as taxes, such as risk, such as inflation, such as government rules, regulations, and things that we can't control. We need to teach people how these things attack our money. And if millennials, which I believe they are very much wanting to learn, this is a good group to sit down and just have a session of talking about money and get their opinion. Find out what they think about money. Find out how they think money works. Not just dictate to them, well, this is what it should look like, this is what it does. Let's find out what you've learned from your parents, from your grandparents. Let's find out how to take that and break it down for your life and with the current economy and what may be happening in the future, so that you know that when you make a decision, it's based on sound information, not just speculation, not just somebody saying, well, here's what we can get you in a rate of return. Rate of returns are great for back analysis, but it's not good for future analysis. So we need to sit down with these people and just help them think through the process, help them to take that knowledge they've learned and apply that knowledge to their everyday life. And I call that wisdom, when you learn how to do that, and then to make the right decisions as best they have or can. And a good financial advisor will do that, will sit down and educate and not talk about product, not talk about this concept or that concept. Let's find out what you've learned, what you've been taught, what the schools have taught you, what your job, your 401k people have taught you when you go into your first job as a corporate in the corporate, and they're telling you, here's what you need to do for retirement. Let's find out if that's true before we jump into that boat and start drifting down the river.
Yeah, that's super, super important. And I think that a big piece to that is there is not one cookie cutter set of advice that when you meet with an advisor, and I think that there are many advisors out there that will have the same spiel and shtick that they say, here's what you need to do, and they've got their same products and their same pitch, no matter the age group. And I think that with millennials, with their mindset, and it's proven. I teach marketing and for 3 different universities, and one of the classes I teach has a couple sections on millennials. So I'm familiar with some of the research out there, and one of the research does talk about affluent millennials and how they are very set on setting ambitious goals. You know, you get a Gen Xer or you get a certain other demographics and they can't even spell the word goal, you know, or they have a goal of, you know, just whatever. But here's a millennial and they're very conscious about setting ambitious goals. And, you know, in business, the famous book is talking about a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. And you need to set those goals. Well, if a millennial, and since a millennial is establishing these ambitious goals, another aspect is I saw some research recently where it said an affluent millennial is 3 times more likely than an affluent Gen Xer to have the life goal of establishing a charitable foundation. And that transcends any rate of return or financial plan. That now is taking it to a whole other level. So I think that, can you speak to that mindset of how a financial plan would fit into not only today and tomorrow, but then beyond with even like a charitable foundation?
Legacy planning is key. If you talk about them passing money on to their family, that might be okay. But when you talk to them about their passion, or what it might be in a charitable organization, whether it's something at the zoo or something for a mission organization or something that they can have an impact after they're gone, we help show them how they can do that at their early age in life and have a tremendous legacy for any nonprofit organization out there or any organization that they want to contribute money to. Some millennials may never get married, and so they won't have a family. So they won't have things to pass on to a family maybe. So they need to have, if they have that charitable heart or that philanthropy heart, then we can help them reach those goals. You talked about goals. They may have a goal where they want to feed the world somehow or provide money to feed the world. We can help them accomplish that. There's very safe, easy ways to do that, and they need to understand those things. That's part of the planning. And as you said earlier, they're not all cookie cutters. Not everybody has the same passions, so we need to find their passion. I know my passion, and sometimes as a salesperson, I push my passions. I want to find their passions and listen to what they want to do and listen to what they want to accomplish. And like you say, they seem to be more goal-oriented than a lot of the later generations. So let's let them talk. Let's listen to them. They have value to bring to the table. So many times as older people, we just kind of wish them away and say, hey, they haven't had enough life experience to figure out what's going on. Sometimes I think that's a real fallacy. In fact, I know it's a real fallacy. And I have a prejudice sometimes in doing that, so I need to just shut my mouth and listen to these people.
Yep. I think that applies for every human being on the face of the earth. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we tend to think we have 2 mouths and 1 ear.
You're correct.
Hey, so when you say legacy planning, that makes me think of something way down the road after you've passed on and you're leaving this legacy. But I also believe that you're intending and you can help a millennial plan for these charitable foundation type things for the future, but even see the fruition of it currently, like some of these plans for, you know, green energy or feeding the third world countries. That you don't have to wait until past retirement to leave that legacy. You can be setting it up and participating in it now. Can you speak to how that would look?
Well, I believe that you'd have to sit down with that organization and to see what kind of ways they would take your funds, if that's what you're going to give, or your time. They can donate their time right now, which again is dollars as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't have to be currency. It can be just their time of sitting down and working with these organizations. All organizations are looking for viable help, for volunteers that have that passion, so they can see something happening today with their efforts in acting for that organization or working for that organization, they can make contributions to them now to help grow that foundation's footprint or their ability to help the communities or the country. We want them to be able to have the ability to have funds to resource to do that. We can show them how to build a cash value and then to borrow from that and then to repay that back and keep doing that over and over again if they so want to do, and then have money for retirement.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And, it makes me think of something else which I think is very specific to the millennial generation, which is a desire for do-it-yourself financial services. And I think that a lot of people these days are, well, hey, I can do this home improvement project. I see the fix and flip shows on TV. I'm going to buy a house and flip it and get a good deal, right? Well, what are you seeing out there with the do-it-yourself financial services? And as a financial advisor, is there some hybrid way that you could give good advice to a millennial and allow them some freedom and flexibility to feel like they're involved in the process, not just taking your advice and they have no control over the process?
I'm trying to visualize that a little bit. You made me laugh because I'm one of those guys that, oh yeah, I can do that, but then I have to, if I do that home improvement, and then I have to have somebody come in and repair what I just did.
Yep.
And that's the same thing that happens with people who want to go out and do their own financial planning or do their own desires to help build their financial net worth. They can do it. And there's, I mean, the internet, as I've told people before, is gospel. It's right. There's never anything wrong on the internet. And we laugh because we know that there's a lot of misinformation. So find somebody that's an expert, somebody that has vetted their life or has the passion of helping people by listening to them, first of all, and then saying, here's what you can be involved with this. I am merely here to help you, guide you through the process. It's your dollars. You take it, and let's find out where we can place it. If you want risk, I've got people that can put you in risk. If you want conservative things, I can help you in the conservative things as far as your money. We can have you grow it. We can help you recoup it. We can help you spend it. We can show you how to do. But you got to deal with someone that's professional. You can't just go out there and think, I can build this wall and I can put this great window in, and all of a sudden you look at the windows, get a little crooked. There's a little, you got to have somebody that knows what they're doing. I don't care whether you use me or anybody else, but find somebody, vet those people, find out how long they've been in business, find out, are they more concerned about developing their reputation, taking your money, and making their livelihood, or are they more interested in you being successful?
And are they more interested in you hearing what they have to say rather than listening to you, like you were saying before? And kind of the do-it-yourself aspect could be tested where, that millennial may do some research online and find this sector or this stock or this fund or whatever. And when they meet with you, be expressing some interest in that kind of a fund that maybe even ties to one of those passions that they have. And a financial advisor might, shoo that away and, oh, no, we need to look at this. And now all of a sudden you've shot them down. But in reality, you need to listen to that because that is revealing to you where kind of their focus and passion is. And that could be taken into consideration in some of your advising with their finances. And sometimes you get one of these captured agents that can only sell a certain book of products, and they don't even have that flexibility. So someone like yourself would be able to listen to that and take that into consideration and then structure a financial plan around that because you have access to any products out there, not just a certain type.
Well, I have access to certain products, but I'm not licensed in all areas. So I have a whole resource of experts that I've vetted that can help them in different venues they want to get into, whether it's in the market, which I don't deal in the market, but I have experts and I've vetted these people. I trust these people. I have over 40 years experience in the financial service industry. So why not use somebody that has already gone through the process and can, because trust is the biggest factor in dealing with your financial portfolio or who do I trust? Who do I listen to? Let somebody that has had this experience work with you and help you those areas. I network with a lot of great people And before I send one of my clients to them, they better be able to tell me why they're going to help that my client, and not just take the money from them and sell them a product or get him in the barn per se and say, now I've got this guy, I can just keep feeding him and he'd feed me. I just have a hard time with being narrow-minded and picking on one advisor. He's going to handle everything. I can't handle everything. I won't handle everything. But I have resources and I have knowledge because of my financial background to help you find those individuals, and I have many of them that I vetted. So.
Yeah, that's really, really important to keep in mind. And you know, that right there to me is transparency in the fact that sometimes people would say, I do it all, everything A to Z, and maybe they either know they can't or they realize that they're not going to be the expert in everything A to Z. So with you taking that approach of, I've got my lane that I run in and I'm super good at, but if and when there comes a request where something comes in that's outside of my lane, I'm not going to turn you away, and I'm not going to try and give you a halfway job. I'm going to bring in an expert that I've vetted so that we can continue going down that financial plan we've laid out with someone that's trustworthy. I think that's really, really admirable and huge. You know, one of the other research stats with millennials is they're very open to trying new products and services. So, you know, they're open to seeing that. But on the flip side of that, their willingness to do that might create some loyalty issues. So if they're willing to try you, they're also willing to try someone else. So can you speak to things that you do that would engender trust and loyalty long term, so that a millennial or any client would realize that you have their best interest in mind?
Well, yeah, again, I have gone through this process since 1967. I have made mistakes. I have learned from the mistakes. I take what I have as knowledge, and I continue to have to increase my knowledge every year to stay abreast of what's happening in the financial world. It's required when you have certain licenses to keep up your education. That has been done. I have clients that I've dealt with that people are more than welcome to contact and listen to if it's positive or negative. I'm not afraid of any of my clients or anybody. Even if I didn't help somebody out, I think I've left them with a good taste as far as what we can do and what I've tried to do for them. I'd rather educate somebody and not sell a product, and have them understand what they're doing as far as they're investing or whether they're going down the right path. I've made what I consider a decent living, and I'm not out to make a wealth out of this business. I'm out to help people understand what financial concepts are about. And millennials are just they're so much more in the technical fields of things. That's one thing I've had to learn. The text messaging, the social medias, things such as that. And I've tried to stay up on that. That's really, really important. And I think there's something these people can teach me. I think millennials can teach me how to do things in technological fields that maybe I'm not so much aware of today. So I'm looking to build a two-way relationship. Okay, I can give you some financial advice. You can help me in some areas. Tell me, I don't know what all this new language is in texting. Can you help me understand all these little words that you've created? I need to know these things. I need to know how. Yeah,
I've seen before where people are, like the old Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and people want to feel fulfilled and accomplished and all of these things. Well, in the workplace, a millennial does not want to be told, do this and do that and go home. They want to feel like they're part of the process and they're being listened to and their ideas matter. And when they get it implemented, that, so it should be and could be a two-way street, not only in the workplace, but in relationships like financial planning. So I just really appreciate, your insights today. Are there any final thoughts that you would like to leave with us? And then let the listeners know what's the best way that someone can learn more about your program.
Well, I just really want the people listening to the program or hearing this to know that I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to work with you, willing to sit down and talk with you and to listen to you. I want to find out what your, like I say before, passions are, what your fears are, More than likely, I've had some of those same problems in my life. Just because I'm a financial planner and I've been in this business a long time, or a financial advisor, doesn't mean I haven't gone through some of the problems that everybody else is going through and some of the anxieties that everybody goes through. So it's just a way to share and to build a relationship. I'm about building relationships with people. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. I mean, you hire me as an independent financial planner or advisor, and you can fire me anytime you don't. You can go find somebody else. That's how you fire me. So it's important that we just work together and communicate. That's the biggest thing. And I listen, and we try to take what we get and be positive with it.
Excellent. Thank you, Walt. And what is the best way that people can
best way to get a hold of me? You can call me either on my business line, which is 303-798-6363. And then you can use that number through your cell phones. If you're long distance, you can call me. Normally, your plans will cover that. The other thing is that my website is www.privatepensionbydesign.com. A lot of information on there. My contact information is there, and you can find out a little bit about me also there.
Super. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Walt. We had a great time talking with you.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.